If you're over 60, there's a 2,000-year-old habit hiding in plain sight in kitchens across southern Italy. And scientists are only now discovering why the people who practice it seem to keep their minds sharp well into their 80s and 90s. It's not a supplement. It's not a puzzle app. It's not some expensive brain training program. It's something poured onto almost every plate, every single day, by grandmothers who never read a single study about it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why researchers at one of the world's top universities now believe this one habit may be quietly protecting the brain from the slow decline so many of us fear. Let's start with a simple question. Why is it that in certain small towns in Italy, places like Acciaroli in the region of Cilento, it's completely normal to meet 90-year-olds who still remember phone numbers, still argue passionately about politics at the local cafe, still cook elaborate Sunday lunches for 15 family members without writing down a single recipe? These aren't isolated miracles. These are patterns. And patterns are exactly what scientists look for when they're trying to understand why some people age with their memory intact, while others begin to lose pieces of themselves in their 60s and 70s. For decades, researchers assumed it was simply the Mediterranean diet as a whole, the vegetables, the fish, the wine in moderation. And all of that plays a role. But when scientists began breaking the diet down, ingredient by ingredient, one single component kept showing up again and again as a powerful independent predictor of brain health. Extra virgin olive oil, not vegetable oil, not the refined processed olive oil sitting in some plastic bottle in the back of a supermarket shelf. Real, cold-pressed, extra virgin olive oil, the kind Italian families have used for centuries, drizzled generously over bread, vegetables, pasta, soups, practically everything. A major study out of Harvard, following over 60,000 people for nearly 3 decades, found something remarkable. People who consume more than half a tablespoon of olive oil a day had a significantly lower risk of dying from dementia-related causes compared to those who rarely consumed it at all. We're talking about roughly a 28% reduction in risk. Let that sink in. A 28% difference tied to something as simple as the type of fat used in cooking. So, what is it about this golden liquid that seems to shield the aging brain? The answer lies in a group of compounds most people have never heard of, polyphenols. Extra virgin olive oil is packed with them, especially one called oleocanthal. Scientists have discovered that oleocanthal behaves almost like a natural anti-inflammatory in the body, similar in some ways to ibuprofen, but derived entirely from a food rather than a pill. And chronic low-grade inflammation is now considered one of the central drivers behind cognitive decline. It damages blood vessels in the brain. It disrupts the delicate communication between neurons. Over years and decades, this quiet, invisible inflammation can chip away at memory, focus, and mental clarity. Extra virgin olive oil also carries powerful antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, another major contributor to aging cells, including the neurons responsible for storing and retrieving memories. Some research even suggests these compounds may help reduce the buildup of amyloid plaques, the same sticky protein clusters closely associated with Alzheimer's disease. But here's what makes this Italian habit so different from a supplement you'd buy online. It isn't isolated. It isn't consumed alone, in a capsule, disconnected from the rest of life. It's woven into a daily rhythm. Olive oil in Italian households isn't measured out with a teaspoon while reading nutrition labels. It's simply how food is made. Over a lifetime, that adds up to thousands of meals, each one delivering a small, steady dose of protection to the brain. And there's something else worth noticing. The habit isn't just about the oil itself. It's about how meals are eaten. In much of southern Italy, food is still a slow, social event. Long lunches, extended family at the table, conversation, laughter, disagreement, storytelling. Scientists studying longevity have repeatedly found that social connection is nearly as protective for the brain as diet itself. Loneliness, on the other hand, has been linked to a measurably higher risk of cognitive decline. So, this Italian habit may be protecting the brain on 2 fronts at once, chemically through the olive oil itself, and socially, through the ritual of the shared meal built around it. Now, you might be wondering, is it too late to start if you're already over 60? The encouraging news is no. Unlike some risk factors that are locked in early in life, brain health responds to changes made later in life too. Several long-term studies have shown that people who increase their consumption of extra virgin olive oil later in adulthood still experience measurable cognitive benefits compared to those who don't. Your brain is not a finished product. It continues adapting, continues responding to what you feed it, well into your 70s and 80s. So, what does this actually look like in practice if you wanted to bring a piece of this Italian habit into your own life? It starts with the quality of the oil. Not all olive oil sold on store shelves is created equal. Extra virgin means the oil was extracted mechanically, without heat or chemical processing, preserving those valuable polyphenols. Look for a harvest date on the bottle rather than just an expiration date, and store it away from light and heat, since these compounds break down over time. Next comes how it's used. In Italian kitchens, olive oil isn't reserved for special occasions. It's drizzled over roasted vegetables, stirred into soups after cooking to preserve its delicate compounds, used generously on crusty bread instead of butter, whisked into simple dressings with a little lemon or vinegar. The goal isn't to drown your food in oil, but to make it a consistent daily presence, the way salt or pepper might be in another kitchen. And then there's the ritual around the meal itself. Slowing down. Sitting at a table instead of eating, standing at a counter, or scrolling on a phone. Sharing the meal with someone, even if it's just a phone call to a friend while you eat. These small shifts, repeated day after day, are what researchers believe compound into real, measurable protection over the years. Of course, no single habit is a magic shield. Genetics, sleep, physical activity, and mental engagement all play their part too. But what makes this particular habit so compelling is its simplicity. It requires no gym membership, no expensive equipment, no complicated regimen. It asks only that you change the bottle sitting on your kitchen counter and the way you gather around your table. Perhaps that's the quiet lesson hidden in this Italian tradition. Protecting the mind doesn't always require something dramatic. Sometimes it's found in the smallest, most repeated choices. A good tablespoon of golden oil, a slow meal, a shared table, practice not for a week or a month, but for a lifetime. If this gave you something to think about, consider sharing it with someone in your life who might benefit from hearing it too. And if you'd like more insights like this into simple habits that support a longer, sharper life, stay close. There's more coming.